13. These are some of the latest images from Bayou C, Assumption Parish, Louisiana. Now, you guys have kept up with it for a year now. It started last August, and it's continued to grow. I want to go over the latest numbers that they came out with this morning. But they're saying that the hole's edge is about 1,100 feet south of LA 70. Now, that is 70 that you see running. It runs north and then curves back east and goes back north to ends up in Baton Rouge. But they're saying the oblong sinkhole has continued to grow. It has a width now ranging from 1,000 feet to 1,400 feet across it. It has 24 acres. That's not counting the indention. But guys, if you remember, back when this started, and this was a very small sinkhole, it was about 400 feet when we finally got the first attention to it. But I was doing videos then last year concerned about this pipeline, and that's what this is right there. This was a pipeline. Now this has continued to sink right into the bayou. Now if you'll go back, or if you go back, you can see that as a sinkhole was just in this circle here, right on the edge of this pad, there was trees still in this area, and this pipeline was not underwater at all, except right on the edge, right there, and that's where that pipe had burst that you see. But there was a long green cutaway and right-of-way for the pipeline that ran through here. It was a long way from this bayou. But now the land in this entire area has sank. What you see dying is where the oil around has gotten to the roots and the trees. And this was very small as it was getting on the edge of it at the first of the year. But it's all the way through the trees now. All of this is dying. And as this land sinks around it, this becomes a deeper hole. In the spring, when they had all the rains, that the water rushing in this way is what broke the berms. And we're watching tropical weather in the Gulf. The storm coming out of the Caribbean into the Gulf was sheared heavily overnight. A lot of that was thrown over the Florida Peninsula. It's down to a 50% chance, but they are saying as it comes into the Gulf, it has a chance of re-strengthening, and that storm will be watched. You can count on it. But what we've got now is a situation where this bayou runs right up through the neighborhoods. But I'll show you a couple other images. Miss Bunny Shoemaker, who always does such a great job here and in the Gulf, has got a couple of wide angles that I want to show you to kind of give you a perspective of the full danger of this. Now this picture is it's got some haze in it, but I think we'll get the point over. Here's the sinkhole. Here's the bayou. It runs through here. Here is this huge lake above Morgan City. There's a series of 2 lakes before it gets into Morgan City, and this bayou curves and snakes its way down through here into this. And I'm sure there's been pollution through when the berms broke this spring, and a couple other instances where it was after some heavy rains. It looked like it had gotten down in that pipeline. So and then both of the big lakes, if they drain past Morgan City, they go into the Gulf. This is an image from yesterday on the 14th, and they had a burp event, but it occurred after the 6.7 quake that was registered. I think it was Tuesday maybe, that was down in Central America right off the coast there. But it registered on these monitors at Bayou C. You could see it rock and rolled them. It was a serious shake, especially at the lower depths where these monitors are placed. The surface didn't show it, but down deep it did, and it showed an extended period of sliding, kind of a slow movement on those monitors, and this is the result. People were complaining, and they said it wouldn't be a big deal. They thought about 5 gallons had leaked out. That was about it through that burp event. Well, so someone put them in a helicopter and flew them over, and they quickly retracted that statement when they saw this. They said it's way more than 5 gallons. They didn't say how much. But again, we haven't had a lot of updates, but this is one of the ones that was just probably about a month ago. And it looks big, but look, it was not on the other side of this berm. And right on the edge, you can see where that bayou comes through. It was not on the other side. Now it's almost one continuous waterway through there. Now, they're saying they're keeping the chemicals on this side of the berm. But again, I'll show you a couple of images where you can see how the dirt on top of these areas here is real fresh and wet, where they're having to constantly repack it because it's sinking on them. Now, this is a current image. I think this one's the 14th. But now you can see that what's happened is not necessarily that this is leaking through the berm, but the surrounding land is sinking into this depression. And you see the fresh mud and dirt and clay they're having to pack in here. They're doing what they can on the berms. I still say they should be skimming this and pulling it off and storing it. They can do. It's expensive to do that separation, but it's a lot more expensive to let it ruin these lakes and bayous and the Gulf. A lot more. They're not looking very far ahead at all. But anyway, guys, I almost hate reporting on it. I get very upset at Bobby Jindal about this. Now, also, next Tuesday, mark that down, the state officials, or they're calling it the state highway officials, will seek public input Tuesday on possible alternatives for future bypass and detour routes around LA 70 near the Assumption Parish sinkhole. That's the main highway here. Now, they may have to close it permanently. But one thing the geologists are saying is that it is tending to sink more to the south. And you can see now it is a waterway right into